Good evening, Sean here from Mountains Garage. Same day, I was out here at 5 a.m. Now it's pushing 8 o'clock, still going. I've been in the house and had dinner. And I came back out because I wanted to install the valve body and get it off the bench. A little bit out of order, like I mentioned. Typically, I would finish the inside, the transmission, and then put the valve body on, but it really doesn't matter. And it's over there on the bench, and it might as well be bolted on over here. Before I go ahead with the valve body installation, I still have access to the center support bolt. And oil goes through the middle of that, and that feeds the intermediate clutch. Works pretty good. First up, we need to put the band apply piston and the accumulator that's no longer going to work in place. I went ahead and cleaned them up. It says to use the stock spring. This accumulator had rings on it, but now it's not going to function. It's just going to hold the spring. I put a new seal. That's the old one. It's the rear band apply piston. So the accumulator is just going to sit inside it. No longer functioning. There's no seals on it, but the spring's going to work. And the cover, a new gasket, and 6 bolts. I had to open a new seal kit just to get this gasket. I thought I was going to get this transmission together with just the gaskets I had, and I didn't have that one. Oh well. Alright, that's bolted on. I also installed the stock modulator valve, the plug, and the bracket that holds it. To dual feed the direct clutch on a Turbo 400, you leave the second seal back off the center support. You leave the second seal or the center seal off the direct clutch drum. And also, typically you would block this hole right here with a plug, or you can plug it in the valve body. But obviously we have an aftermarket valve body, so they have to do something else. They don't explain. It just says put the check ball here, this big white check ball. It's going to bounce back and forth. Well, that's blocking. It's bouncing back and forth between these two ports, reverse and direct. So that's how they accomplish it. They don't give you a lot of theory. So anyway, that white ball is going to sit in there, and then I can capture it with this. I need to flip it over, but as long as I don't separate them, the ball's not going anywhere. I use a couple of 5/16 alignment studs. I also use them for the front pump when I install it. I lubed up the new manual valve, and there's nothing else to line up on this. It's pretty slick. You just set it down on the studs, and I'll start putting in bolts. A stock Turbo 400, you got a lot more things you got to worry about. This is so easy. Alright, it comes with all the bolts. They don't tell you where they all go, but it's easy to figure out. There's one 1/4 inch button head that goes under the solenoid, and there's 2 different lengths of the 5/16. It's a 5/16 12-point head. Years of being a diesel mechanic, that is a Series 60 Detroit diesel computer connector. 5/16 12-point. I added a washer on the spring that puts pressure on the rooster, because the head of that bolt and the hole in it were about the same size. I could have gone with an AN washer, but you know, whatever. And I grounded one side of the solenoid to the one of the 3/4 inch bolts that hold the valve body down. They give you these cool 12 points, and then they give you regular 1/4 inch bolts. And this side, of course, goes to the case connector. Let's talk filters for a minute. The one with the yellow foam you can see, that is for a street car. This is pretty much just a rock screen, and that's what you need when you turn the pump up and you're sucking extra. That's restrictive. That's what you want. I actually just clean those rust spots here. They tend to rust sitting because, you know, like anything else, makes me sad. I actually rub it with Gibbs. I don't know if anybody else uses Gibbs, but that stuff is amazing. I don't like rust, so Even when I put the transmission together, if I think something's going to be sitting and might rust, I put a little Gibbs on it. Look it up, it's good stuff. I wonder how many times I've said lube in this video. I like to double O-ring the case end of the filter spout. Same reason, she's sucking hard. And two's better than one. That just sounds bad. In stock form, you just have a bolt and that spacer on the filter. I like to put a washer on either side of the filter to help capture it. It still doesn't tighten out the bolt bottoms out first, but it keeps that from flopping around like it does. I've actually seen them fall off before. The pan, it sits right in the bottom of the pan, but you know it's going to see a lot of action, so they make that slot, the filter slotted, and that bolt head can actually force its way through there. So again, I overthink everything, but that's my job. Nothing left but the pan now. I stock a bunch of non-plated nuts. For instance, like I weld onto exhaust studs to get them out. It's also handy in this case. That's just a 1/2-inch bolt, 1/2-13 bolt. I cut it off short, and I welded one of the unplated nuts inside the pan, and then put a nylon washer on the head of the bolt, and then for about 50 cents you got yourself a drain plug. I hate transmissions without drain plugs. If you're going to do, you know, if it's a stock vehicle, you're only going to service it every 150, 100,000, that's one thing. But something like this, you might have the fluid out of it a few times. Let's talk gaskets. Dry cork is always my choice. In fact, you won't find me putting sealer anywhere in this transmission. I'm not a fan. But dry cork is good stuff. Now, modern gaskets, the 4L80 has a nice reusable gasket. Lasts a lifetime pretty much. They're starting to make them now for Turbo 400s. Moroso has a blue one. It's not quite the same. I've seen some of the reusable ones for 400s. They're probably $40, but if they work, that's good. But I also like the FTI and a few others, the house brand, Jegs or Summit. They have a ribbed, deep aluminum pan. Now, again, buyer beware when you're buying a pan, because they'll call it a deep pan, and it's not. It's a stock 2-incher instead of the 4-inch. Make sure it's 4 inches deep or bigger. This is a stock deep pan. It'll work just fine. I almost put the drain over here just so it would sit on the jack better, but it just would have been harder to weld, and that's really not flat. So I talked myself out of it, and it'll be just fine. That's going to do it today, I guess. Oh yeah, got 13 gold erudite flange head 5/16 bolts. But I'm not going to bolt the pan on because I still got to put the pump in tomorrow and the drums. Probably tomorrow, I don't know. I might keep going tonight, you never know. But anyway, this video is wrapped up. We put the Transbrake valve body on. Slightly out of order, but I already explained that. I hope you have a great evening. Like and subscribe, and we'll keep doing stuff. Thanks, bye.